As a hairstylist who owns multiple multi-million-dollar companies, in this podcast, I'm talking to hairstylists and salon owners who are ready to put in the work to build wealth. We are literally teaching stylists how to get results. We're getting them to get results on how to make more money behind the chair and to create their own empires. It's what you know that you don't know that you need to know in order to get to where you want to go. Because I understand now that in order for me to get to my targets and my big goals and be able to impact 500,000 stylists all over the world and 400 plus salon owners and helping them run an efficient business that they don't feel like they're babysitting anymore, that they feel like they know how to scale it because they have the right information. We get to touch this magic every day of giving people the confidence of hair, but truly it's how do we be more impactful and understanding. My name is Terra Harvell and this is the Terra Harvell Show. During this podcast, all these other episodes, I'm just going to tell you right now, if you love money and you love making money and you fully understand the impact that revenue and income makes on your life, and then not only your life, but the people around you, this is the place for you. You are absolutely going to love this podcast because literally we're going to talk about money, strategy, business, and talk about all the reasons why hairstylists are not stupid. And so kind of going back to that, with our education, we quite literally teach stylists how to make big bucks behind the chair. And so I started as a stylist. I was doing all extensions because, hello, it's a higher ticket price. You guys that haven't figured that out yet, you must be doing something with a higher ticket price behind the chair. And I know a lot of you guys, because trust me, I work with stylists all the time. And I know a lot of you guys are like, well, it's not all about money. I love my craft. I love being the artist that I am. I love creating these incredible looks. I'm with you. I'm totally with you. But here's the thing. No matter if you're passionate about money, no matter if you're passionate about feeding the kids in Africa, no matter if you're passionate about going to the animal shelter and saving all the animals, listen, I've heard it all. But all of those things take money. They take money in order to do it well. And so I am so passionate about making money because literally, you guys, I have stories that I could go on forever. The more money that I make, the more money that the people around me have, and their lives and their families' lives change forever. And I've noticed this domino effect the more successful that I've gotten. So I do want to finish telling you guys about me so you know exactly who I am. Behind the chair doing extensions, I strategize my books to be able to take home not just total revenue, service dollar revenue. I took home over $400,000 a year, working only 4 days a week. Now, there's a lot of strategy in that, and we'll get into that in the later episodes. I'm going to be sharing with you guys quite literally the hacks that I've gotten to where I am today. Now I'm the CEO of Harper Ellis Hair Co, which is a massive education platform because we are literally teaching stylists how to get results. We're getting them to get results on how to make more money behind the chair and to create their own empires. And that's why our company has grown so fast. Not only that, of course, the quality of the hair has really helped on making us known as a worldwide hair extension company. And so now Harper Ellis is a $10 million business. And I get to be the CEO of this thing. And so I have had massive amounts of success myself. And it's hard for me to even say that word or say even that phrase of I've had massive amounts of success because I am nowhere near of where I'm headed. My next target is $100 million. And I'm about to relate with you guys so hard because so many of you guys listening to this are probably salon owners or you're a stylist behind the chair. And here's something I'm going to share with you guys. Imagine this circle. Sometimes I draw this on a graph, but imagine this circle. I learned this from one of my mentors. And the circle is your brain. And you have a little bitty sliver at the top of it. And it's what you know. It's already what you know, like probably what you learned in cosmetology school, what you've learned maybe running a salon, just like what you've learned from your failures. We learn a lot from those things, right? And then imagine a little sliver next to it. And it's what you know that you don't know. Now, I'm in this huge self-development journey right now. I am like on a war path to self-develop myself because of this one sliver that I'm telling you about right now. It's what you know that you don't know that you need to know in order to get to where you want to go. I did this poll on my Instagram the other day, and it was like, I was asking salon owners, and I was like, what is the big goal? Like, what's the big thing that you're trying to get to? I mean, the answers were kind of, they were kind of the same across the board. It was like, I want $1 million salon. I want multiple locations. I want to franchise my luxury salon. I got a lot of money goals, which I love a money goal. People are like, I want a $5 million salon. I want $1 million salon, all these things. And here's what you guys do by setting goals. And this is the hack that I've learned to success. You overthink the goal. Like you think right now, $1 million is a lot to you, and that's totally fine. At one point, $1 million was a lot to me as well. And I'm not shaming your goal. Here's the thing. I need you guys to hear me out. I'm not shaming your goal, but here's how goals work. Once you get to that goal, or not even get to the goal, once I ease towards one of my targets, like I then set a new target, and it's way larger, because as I get closer to my goal and my target, my confidence grows. Because when you get that momentum, you're like, crap, my goal was too small. Now I need to go to the next thing. And that's how you should be setting your targets. So anyway, I did this poll and I was asking salon owners, I'm like, what is the big goal? Like, what is the big thing? And, I got the $1 million, I got the $5 million, I got the, 5 locations, I got the 15 locations. So I even had like 100 locations, all these things. And that little sliver that I was talking about, the second one, is if you have those big targets and goals, and even if you're a stylist behind the chair and your goal is to make $200,000 behind the chair, you don't know enough right now in order to get to that target. Like you don't know, or else you would be there. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Like there are so much information about growth and development and running a business that you don't know, or else you would already be at your target. And the minute that you understand what I'm saying and you agree with me, you're going to catapult your success, because that's what catapulted me. I quite literally was humbled enough to go, I don't know shit about running a business. I mean, I opened a salon. I refinanced my mortgage to open my salon. I had 2 or 3 walkouts. One year, after doing my taxes, I realized I made $8 in profit after almost $700,000 worth of revenue. $8 was my profit out of that, because I didn't know how to run a fucking business. Like, that's the thing. I was talking to a friend the other day. I was at a big networking event, and she is a dentist, and her husband is a dentist, and he does more of the aesthetic side, like the veneers and stuff like that. And then she's a dentist on the other side of this building, and she does the cavities, the things that you all go to your dentist for. And she was telling me, and we were talking about my industry, the hair industry, and she was talking about the dentistry, and she was like, in school, like I went, 8 years of college, I'm a doctor, and they taught us how to fix a cavity, drill a hole, give someone lidocaine in their mouth. Like that's what they taught us. All those things are important to do the craft, but they weren't taught how to run and scale their practice. And a lot of you guys being in the hair world, because I know I sat at a time that I was like so clueless about other people in their business. I know a dentist right now in my community that just they've asked me questions about running their business, because they know that I've scaled my business to 10 million, which is far beyond where they are as a dentistry office. And they're asking me a lot about business and how to run a business, because I've learned, and I've actually self-developed myself. I've spent over $1 million in the last 8 months learning how to run an actual business. And I'm going to go into all of those things. This podcast is going to share with you guys quite literally my hacks to growing and scaling. And this conversation with this dentist, she was just like, we learned how to do the craft, and then we got out past the test, and we were called dentists. But then, a lot of us set out and we open our own practices, but we don't know how to develop our teams, attract a great team in order to grow and scale the business. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. It's the same with cosmetologists. Like you guys literally learn how to, the state board, you learn how to roll some hair. It's been so long since I've done this. What's the term? Roll hair in a perm. There you go. I don't even think the state board test you on cutting hair. I don't remember that if they did. Kind of like applying the cholesterol and the doll head and the way that you would color hair. Like that does not teach you how to run a business. And then you guys become stylists. I'm going to walk you through the whole path of how I see stylists doing things all the time. Then you become stylist. You may work in another person's salon. Likely you are. I don't see very many people getting out of school and going into salon owning. And if they do that, I see them fail a lot. And so you get behind the chair, and maybe you're a stylist, and you don't become an assistant or anything. You go booth rental, and you're don't understand that foiling hair and becoming good at hair, or even extensions or something special, specializing in something like that, is not all you need to know. And it's that little sliver I was talking about. Is you don't know what you don't know. And so then, you get behind the chair, and maybe you're a stylist, and you don't become an assistant or anything. You go booth rental, and you're don't understand that foiling hair and becoming good at hair, or even extensions or something like that, is not all you need to know. And it's that little sliver I was talking about. Is you don't know what you don't know. And so then some of you guys, without building stats behind the chair, like you've made $50,000 or $60,000 behind the chair, and then you're like, I'm going to open a salon because that's my secret to making income. That's not me standing behind the chair. A lot of you guys open booth rental salons because of the bad rap that commission salons have. So you're scared that no one's going to come work there. So you open a booth rental salon. You're like, oh, okay, I'm going to open the salon, 2,400 square feet. I'm going to put 7 booths in it, and that's how I'm going to make my income. But then you do the math, and you're like, okay, if everyone's paying me $350 a week, times that by 7, and then you realize that you make $10,000 a month off of these booth rental booths, and then your expenses to run the damn place is like $8,000. And you're like, well, shit, I thought I was going to get rich off of this. And because you didn't do the math, because you don't know how to run a business. You don't know how to scale. And so you go into this business owning thing without understanding the big picture, because you likely opened the business without even knowing the big target. And that's when you send me the DM, and you're like, my big target is $1 million in multiple locations. But you're just saying that because that sounds good to you right now. But you're not actually thinking in your own business, how am I getting to the $1 million? Like how do I reverse engineer? If $1 million is a target, how do I reverse engineer to get to the target? Now, let me share something with you guys. Actually, the other day, I had the opportunity to go to Miami. And if you guys know Grant Cardone, the big 10X movement, I actually went for 5 days straight, and I got to do his wife's hair. She's an incredible woman, such a boss, like just incredible people. Grant and Elena are both. And I was doing her hair, and I was actually talking with Grant, and he was like, what is the target? And that's something, if you've ever heard from Grant or like watch his Instagram stories, he always says that. What's the target? What's the target? What's the target? And we were talking, and I was like, well, I got my target from adding up all the things that I want to do in life. Like, I want the jet. I want to help 500,000 stylists all over the world grow and scale their business and their salons. Do you guys understand? And if you know me and you've been on this side and you've already had education from us, like I say that I want to reach 500,000 stylists all over the world. It's a lot of freaking people. That's a lot. But do you guys understand that in order for me to do that, it takes a lot of money and revenue? And a lot of you guys aren't tying your goals. You're like, I want to create this salon where all my people are winning and they're providing for their families and they're living happy, healthy lives. I love that goal because you're already thinking that you want to impact people. And that's amazing. Like, you should want to impact people. If impacting people is not on your vision board, if people are not on your vision board, like, you got it all wrong. Trust me. Because if you're thinking about your big goal, you should be thinking about the amount of people that you're impacting with that big goal. We'll hit on that later. That's a whole podcast in itself. But I was adding up all the things. I want the jet so I can get to these 500,000 people. I want to be a best-selling author coming soon, but that's going to take money. And I put a dollar amount on it. And I want to be the best-selling author when my business hits $30 million. I already know that. And then I was talking about my family. I want my son to have these opportunities that I never had as a child. There's a dollar amount attached to that, you guys. And then on my vision board, I had on there, I had big diamonds. I want a big diamond that I wear on my hand every day. I want big diamonds. You're like, why is that important? It takes a dollar amount. I've never thought to myself to be this woman that was able to walk around with a big diamond. Some of you guys are like, that's not important to me. That is fine if that's not important to you. But diamonds are a status thing. And it's not that I so long to need this status, but I want to be proud of what I've created. I want to be able to afford the $150,000 diamond on my hand. Does that make sense? And so what I'm trying to get back to is that is a dollar amount. And a lot of you guys have these wants, and some of you guys are even too scared to say your wants because you don't know how you're going to get there, and you think that you likely might not get there. What I'm trying to say is whatever it is that you've painted your future picture, like, it takes money. And so when I was talking to Grant and I was like, what is the big target? I was like, well, my target has been $100 million. But here's the kicker, you guys. $100 million is a lot of money. But I've been in one-on-ones with my employees for the last few weeks. And during our one-on-ones, this is actually something you learn inside of our education program. We talk to them about their PPF goals, their personal, professional, and financial goals. And I'm getting my employees coming in my office and they're telling me all these things that they want in life. And like quickly that $100 million becomes too small of a goal because some of my employees wants their own jet. Some of my employees want their own things that they can do to impact people. And I know that that's going to take a dollar amount, an even larger dollar amount. And so what's the target? Let's just stick with the $100 million. I'm not going to lie. During that conversation with Grant, I'm like, $1 billion is the target. But let's go back to $100 million. And so the $100 million, how am I going to get there? And that's what you guys need to be asking. If your target is $1 million, how are you going to get there? So I am so clear. Right now we're about to launch, and don't worry, this podcast is going to tell you all about all these things. We're launching brand new education where we bring salons on as actual partners. And each salon is going to generate around $20,000 a month in revenue. And if you just do the math, I need 400 of those partners. And that's $100 million. So why are we overcomplicating the target? Why are you overcomplicating your target? Just reverse engineer it and get to. So back to my circle, the big circle. I had the big circle. The little sliver is what you do know. And the other little sliver is what you know that you don't know. So it's information that you're like, a lot of you guys listening to this are probably like, oh my God, I want to make also, but I don't even know how to read a profit and loss statement. That's what I'm talking about. That information where you're like, I know that I need to know this in order to get there. And then imagine the circle. You got these two tiny little pizza slivers, and then the rest of it is blank. And on that blank is information that you don't even know that you need to know in order to get there. And that blank space, you guys, is why I've been on this like just hard self-development journey. Because I understand now that in order for me to get to my targets and my big goals and be able to impact 500,000 stylists all over the world and 400 plus salon owners and helping them run an efficient business that they don't feel like they're babysitting anymore, that they feel like they know how to scale it because they have the right information, I've got to learn things that I don't even know that I don't know. And that's what I'm focusing on. And so the point of this is hairdressers are not stupid. I have so many people, and a lot of you guys will relate to this story. Like when I went to cosmetology school, my family was not that excited. They were like, really? You're going to be the hairdresser? And here's the thing. I honestly named this podcast this because, you guys, I was the stupid one. I was the bottom 20% of my class. I have a brother, and he was like the valedictorian, top of his class, of course. He got all the scholarships. And then there was Terra, who I would rather be braiding someone's hair in the gym than to be in class. Like, let's be honest. And so all of my life, because of the way our world is set up, which I could do a whole podcast on that, like we're set up to think that we're stupid because we may have not passed the zoology, algebra 15 class. Like we're set up to believe that we are stupid. And so many of you guys being a hairstylist, if you are a hairstylist, I know for a fact, I don't have to guess, you've had multiple encounters where people look down on you because you were a hairstylist. And they're like, huh, I have. I even do that now. And what they don't understand is I own a $10 million business. And so this podcast, the name is to get your attention. You guys that are brand new listening to this, the name was to get your attention because you're probably like, this bitch, hairstylists are stupid. I'm going to show her it's exactly right. It's exactly how I want you to feel because you guys aren't stupid. Matter of fact, those people that go to college, and don't get me wrong, we need the doctors in our world. Like, God forbid, we need great doctors. But the people that go to college for these huge degrees that they spend $500,000 their entire life, paying off debt their entire life to go make, $150,000 and be capped because of where their environment is. Like, that's stupid. We're the ones that went to school for 9 months for maybe $15,000, $20,000, and we get to get out and make $400,000 standing behind the chair, working only 4 days a week, playing with hair all day. Who's stupid now? It's not us. And so what I want you guys to understand is that you have the possibilities in this industry. I've said this for so long. I said this before I even knew what it meant. You guys have insane amount of possibilities. You guys can open salons and you can scale them. You can scale them to multiple locations with a badass team that all works together to make their dreams come to life. And I know you guys have problems doing that because you don't know how to scale. You don't know how to attract the best talent in town, the best stylists around. And then you don't know how to keep them. They walk out. And then when they all walk out, you do things like, remodel your salon and spend a couple $100,000 to create the shiny new penny. And then when that shiny new penny wears off, they leave again. And you haven't figured out how to solve that problem. And so what we're doing with Harper Ellis is we're helping you guys solve that problem because we do have the solution to that problem. And I'm excited to talk to you guys about it more on this podcast in the further episodes. But more than anything, thanks for being here. Thanks for trusting me past the very harsh title of hairdressers are stupid. But if you hang out with me long enough, not only am I going to help you feel like you're not stupid if you feel that way. And that's just the thing. I talk to stylists all the time and they're just like, I have these big goals, but I'm not smart enough to get there. I don't have the knowledge to get there. And that's the thing. Everybody starts out like that. No owner of a business starts out knowing what they're doing. No one. I've talked to people that own businesses that are $150 million plus or close to $1 billion. None of them started out with a clear picture, a clear path to success. They were just willing to spend the time of the self-development to figure out those things that they don't even know that they need to know in order to get there. And so this podcast is going to be a little bit different for this industry. I'm going to be sharing with you guys a lot of business knowledge that you need to know in order to get there. We're not going to talk a lot about pulling hair and doing extensions, although those things are very important because that's how we make our money. But there's a time and a place for that. Right now, I want to help you guys grow and scale, get to the target. Not only that, figure out the target. Most of you guys listening to this don't even know what the target is, and that's a huge problem. Like, what is the target? Where the hell are you going in life? It's like, I always say this in class, it's like when you go on vacation, you get in the car and you open your Maps app. What do? You type in the address. Why? Because you don't know where the hell you're going and you don't know how to get there. And so you type in the address because you do know at least the final destination, and that map takes you there. It's exactly how goal setting is. It's exactly how targets are. You got to know where you're going in order to get there, or else you'll never get there because you don't even know where you're going. Makes sense, right? So that's what we're going to do during this podcast is talk to you guys a lot about business scaling, what you need to know in order to do that. The main thing that I want you to know, if we have not met yet in person, I want to meet you in person. But if you are just now meeting me on this podcast, you've got an ally for life, because I very much, in fact, think that hairdressers are the smartest, most coolest people in the world. And I'm on your side to help you grow and scale. And I hope to get to work with you. Thanks for joining.